Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. What's up, Seven? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. What's up, Red Dress? If you are on Facebook or YouTube, make sure that you say hello because I will not know that you are in here unless you do. Hey, Angie. What's up, Tiny Dreamer? Sherry, Tam Bam, Brown Sugar, Ellie, Denise. What's up? Hello, hello. What's up, Jesse James, Win Dixie? On the moment. Hey, Carla. Ooh, we y'all are coming in super, super fast. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch everybody. What's up? Oh my gosh, really fast. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Sweet and Sour. What's up? Second Breakfast Club, Carla. Oh my gosh, Deanna Murray, Jules, Catherine. Oh my gee whiz, y'all are flying in here. Hi, Kentucky Lady. What's up, AFM? Hey, Laura. Hey, Blue Nevada. What's up, Michelle? Hey, Laura. Good to see everybody. What's up? Hey, Lyrically Poetic. Hey, Iris. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's going too fast. What's up, P. Jones? How are you guys? I have missed you. It has been an interesting couple of days. What's up, Dilgrave? What's up, Kiki? How is everybody? Hey, Dizzy. Good to see you. What's up? Hey, Dusty. Hey, LaDonna. Nice to see you. What's up, CYX? Good to see you. Everybody's doing okay, well and rested. I am not well rested, but I am well. Hey, Veronica. What's up, Deborah? Good to see you. Hey, Linda. How are you? What's up, Bass Fish, Candy Red, Carla, Steffi G, Farah. Oh my gosh, there's so much happening. Um, right, not on TikTok. Correct. What's hi? Good evening, Tom Dunlevy. I don't know why I can say your name just now. Hey, Kellogg's. Hey, Candy. Hey, Funny Face. Hello, Lisa, Heather. Hi, everyone. I am really, really glad to see you. Yes, one New York. Yes. So, if you have, hey, Ella, good to see you as well. So, if you have been following me for a minute, hey, Grayson, what's up? I love me. Hey, Chef Ryan, it's been a minute. So it is good to see everybody. I know that I didn't go live yesterday at all. I have had grands a whole bunch. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. And yeah, it's been, I mean, believe it or not, it's only been a day. I just didn't go live yesterday, but I went live the day before. Yesterday is the only day I didn't go live. I know, but somehow it feels like haven't been on in days, right? Hey, Morty, good to see you. So for those of you all who know me, if you've listened to me talk, I absolutely love. Hey, Leslie, I adore John Lewis. John Lewis is one of those individuals that when I get tired, when I get frustrated, when I the flu took over your house, yuck. I hope you guys get better. Whenever, especially right now when there is so much going on and there's breaking news every 5 minutes, and we just have a lot. And so I here's the thing. I really don't I put this up as a status. Hey, Doug. I put this up as a status, and I mean this. Let me tell y'all something. They can take DEI out of policy. They can paint over walls, right? They can do all of those things. What they cannot do is change the fact that we are diverse. You can't change the fact that we are diverse. Okay. And so we get to choose whether we are equitable and inclusive. Hey, Rockin' Nana, good to see you, right? So we are diverse. I don't need a calendar from the Pentagon or anyone else. Sure thing, Denise, to tell me that it's Black History Month. I don't need them to tell me that we do or don't get to celebrate it. I've never needed anyone to tell me what I can or cannot celebrate. And so we are going to talk about Black History Month. And I have some things that I'm going to read and I'm going to share with you. I'm going to touch on just a couple of things and I'm going to set kind of the tone for this evening. Hey, Stacy, good to see you. So let me just go ahead and give you, I'm going to level set everybody for those of you guys who might be new in this space. So let me just say this. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, so let me just do a couple of things. So first, let me level set. If you are new in my space, I ask for four things. I ask you to be respectful at all times. I ask that you do not use all caps unless you are a moderator or you are receive grace. All caps are so that I can see something from my mods. I ask that you don't spam the comments. If you've got something that you want to say, that is fine. Doesn't matter to me. Just do not say it 4, 5, and 6, and 7 times because it clogs up the comments. And don't use any slurs. If you use slurs, you will be muted or booted from this live. Those are the 4 simple things. Other than that, just act like you're an adult, like you've developed some sort of manners along the way. Okay. So I want to touch on a couple of things for everyone. So the first thing that I want to touch on is all of the flurry of activity in the first 2 weeks of the Trump administration. And I want to touch on it briefly to say this. Okay, there is absolutely no part of this that should be a surprise. If you read Project 2025, and if you didn't, I strongly suggest that you do. All of this was put in the playbook, right? Using acting secretaries in certain departments while we're waiting on other confirmations to take place. Getting rid of having the 2 genders. I talked about that so much, and people told me that oh, that's not a thing. It was literally in Agenda 47 on Donald Trump's campaign website that he was going to ask Congress to pass a bill saying there were only 2 genders, right? I said that then. And what's up, beach bum wannabe? And hey, Mimi Wash. And so, I told people about all of these things back then. So there should be nothing around here that is happening that surprises you. And let me just say this, okay? If you stay plugged in to every single thing that they do between Trump, between Elon, between Congress, between confirmation hearings, between what's on Truth Social, if you stay plugged into all of that, you will easily be overwhelmed. So I'm going to tell you very quickly that you better be able to find some balance and learn how to be informed without being overwhelmed. All right. So let me just start by saying that. Okay. I'm going to go on to say this. It's very simple. There is not anyone, let me not say that because people be lying to themselves all the time and cognitive dissonance is a bitch. So let me let me say this differently. Okay. Reasonable people, reasonable individuals who are willing to challenge their own beliefs, their own thoughts, their own whatever, right? Those types of reasonable people who can, read the writing on the wall, see that there's a pink elephant in the room and call a thing a thing. Those people know that for the bit of the last 12 years, there has been a significant direct attempt by the Republican Party, which has now become the GOP MAGA party, right? It is no longer the regular Republican Party. The Tea Party infiltrated it, MAGA infiltrated it, and it is now something else, right? And so let me just be very, very clear about what you're seeing. Every one of us heard the dog whistles. We know good and well that there was a racist agenda that was being pushed. What's up, NC Thunder? Thunder, right? We know that that's been the thing. When you hear the DEI talk, when you hear the woke talk, when you hear all of that talk, if you backtrack it all the way back through his history, right? All the way back through history. Woke and DEI are the same thing as you heard in the 90s when you heard thugs and that sort of work, right? And you track that back and you go all the way back until you get all the way back to the N word. When we hear these folks, we know exactly what it means, right? So none of this should be a surprise to you. And I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to not let them steal your peace and your joy. You are going to have to figure out how to acknowledge and know what's happening around you and not let it become this dark, scary, crazy place. Like today, I literally took I took the grandbabies outside to the playground while they were on the playground, making a new friend and playing. I literally just took the big painting that I'm working on and took my pencils out and started doing all of those things. Dang, Bessie, please don't do that. Things Okay, listen, don't do fear mongering in here, folks. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Do not start stockpiling like you did during C19. What you should do, right? What you should do is be proactive and be aware, right? So if you have a garden, garden. If if you have a local farmers market, if there are local farmers around, shop with them, right? Make sure that you are doing all of those types of things because that's important, right? That's a good thing to do regardless of what is going on. But what I'm not going to do is let people sit up here and make it seem like, this is the end of the world and whatever, whatever, because I just can't sit in that place of fear um, because it does not do anything for anybody. It's not helpful. I'm not going to sit in some place of fear. I'm just not going to do it. Hey, Mary Esther, what's up, Lisa? So, hey, Thea, just very, very clear, right? Yes, you will need to be smart. Yes, you will need to be, wise with what you do and how you spend and where you go. And this is something that I will also say you, right? Um, Well, Leslie, I mean, if you stocked up on sale price coffee this weekend, have at it, right? What I'm saying is when people are doing the fear mongering, I'm just not coming from that space. I can't come from that space, and I don't desire to come from that space. I really don't. Nor do I desire. I had someone comment on my Facebook today and say, "Oh, it's time to bring everybody together." And if what you mean by bring everyone together is to try to normalize what Donald Trump is doing, I'm not your girl. That is never going to happen. It is never, ever, ever, ever going to happen that I'm going to act like this shit is normal because it is not. I am not going to act as if it is not racist because it is. I'm not going to act like it's not sexist because it is. I'm not going to act like it's not classist because it is. I am never going to sit up here, hey, Sid Patrick, and act like this is what should happen because it should not. And so I'm going to call a thing every day, as long as I have breath. So when you say bring people together, if you mean submit in advance and normalize what the hell is going on, I'm not your girl. I'm not for you. And that's okay because I'm not for everybody. What I will be doing is a couple of different things. All right. I said this when the election happened. Okay. I said when the election happened that we would be, thank you, Titus. I said that we would be on a parallel journey over the next few years. That journey is going to be both in our communities, in our politics, and also within our personal individual selves. We will have to be on this journey of how do we evolve and who do we need to become in order to not only save democracy but to save our communities, to save our states, to save the country. That's not hyperbole. I'm literally being very sincere when I say this. You're going to have to figure out who you need to become and what are you willing to do, and what does protest look like and what does protest not look like, right? I got you, Leslie. I hear you. And with the tariffs being announced today, I don't blame you, right? Everyone should be aware that tariffs went into effect today for Mexico, China, and Canada. Everyone should know that. Everyone should know that. Okay. What I will tell you to do is to be aware. Like you have to be, hey, Amanda Kim, you're welcome. So these are things that I'm going to highly recommend that you do. Other things that I am asking people to do in my link tree, you will see a link to a Google form. And that Google form says Danny's TikTokers. I'm going to ask you to fill that out if you want to stay in touch with me, because I don't know what social media is or isn't going to be. I don't know what is or isn't going to happen to TikTok, right? I have finally gotten things set up. I need one more step to be finished, and then all of my subscribers are going to come through a private network that will not be tied to a particular app. If you are a subscriber of mine, you will have stickers and things that you can use on any platform that will be in my Discord. All of those things, absolutely, Denise, and you know that you can, right? So that all of those things are things that are going that are in place that are happening. Okay. So I'm excited about that. What's up, Sammy J? So yeah, I'm glad you're here, Gloom Cookie. Hey, Blue Honey. So yeah, so my new LLC has been formed. The company is now formed, and I got all my paperwork on Friday, so I'm excited about that. I've got just a few other things to get put into place, and then we're going to do what we do, right? Alex, actually, we're not. Let me tell you what we are, just so that we're all clear and we use the right language. So there's not very much difference between a democracy and a republic. Both of them talk about people running the government. And what happens is that the people in the United States of America run the government through our elected officials, which that's a democratic process where the popular vote elects your candidates. I am on, Carol. Good to see you. Okay. So when I talk about us being we are actually a democratic constitutional republic. We are all three of those things. Okay. I don't know that you don't join the LLC. If you're subscribing, you're just subscribing to like people subscribe on here. Yes, baby.
Look, it's called macaroni and cheese.
I know. So, all right. So let me, the people run the country as long as the people use the power that they have. So let's be clear, folks. When you elect people, okay, that's the democratic process. When you exercise your right to vote, that is democracy in action. Okay. The republic is that part is our elected officials, but there's a part in between those two things, which is our constitution. And so the whole point of the constitution is to keep those people that are running for the government from going too far and taking away the rights of the people. So that's why it's important to acknowledge that we have three parts. We are a democratic constitutional republic. We are all three of those things. Okay. So that's to be clear. So what we will be doing is a number of different things. Okay. Alex, they don't block your power, right? So I think here's the thing. It has been a very, very long time. Hey, Raya, please don't spam the comments. Okay. Let me just say this. Okay. It has been a very long time since the people in the United States of America have paid enough to politics and voted in the way that they should in large enough numbers to want to be in power. Let's be very clear. When is the last time the vast majority of this country was moving to secure and keep the rights of people in place, or even to secure more? When is that? The last time I can think of it is in the 1960s and early 70s, right? After that, everybody was like, oh, well, we did a good job. And everybody just sat back and didn't do shit else. Okay. So I think that that's important for folks to acknowledge. So before people talk about the people don't have power, I would say, are the people using the power that they have? And if they aren't, do they know that they have it? Do they know what actually can happen when people are organized effectively, when people have the right messaging, when people have the ability to converse in a way that brings people, to understanding, even if you don't have agreement? And I talk about this a lot. Right. Complacency and apathy have gotten us here. Agreed, Leslie. Agree. Thanks, user. So what you can do, folks, if to stay in touch with me, is to simply go to my profile, whether you're on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, and click my link tree. When you go to my link tree, there is a thing that says Danny's TikTokers. Click that Google form, put in your first name, your social media handle, and whether you're a subscriber or a follower, and then you will be on my list. Okay, so just saying that. All right. Now, I love it. So cute, sissy. She's drawing. Yeah. So the link tree is in my profile, literally. So if you click my face and then click it again, what's up, macaroni? And you go to my profile, there's a link tree there. Um, Thank you. You like the last podcast? Appreciate it. So for those of you all who do not know, I do have a podcast. It is the Danny Cook Show. I'm extremely excited. Tonight makes 3 weeks since the podcast launched. We have over 4,000 downloads, and we are in the top 10% globally for listening. And I'm very excited about that, right? I'm hoping that continues to grow and to thrive, right? So I'm excited about that. Yeah, my link tree is in Discord, Health and Happiness. Yeah. Um, okay, so um and the podcast you can listen anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So whether you do Podbean, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, Listen Notes, Audible, Amazon Music, whatever you're using to listen to podcasts, you'll be able to find it. You just need to type in the Danny Cook Show and you will get it. There are 6 episodes up right now. And so I thank you. Goodbye, girl. I appreciate that. So I will be continuing to do those. And I think the podcast is actually going to be, thanks, Virginia. I appreciate that. I think the podcast is going to be more often than weekly. Especially because there's so much to go that will be going on. Now I'm going to tell you where I want to differ from everyone else. Okay. I don't want to talk every day about what Donald Trump is doing. We've made that mistake once. I don't think we should make it again. I do not want to talk every day about what Donald Trump is doing. I think we should be talking about what we're doing, what we can do, what we are doing, what we will be doing between now and the special election on April 1st, between now and the midterms in 2026, right? I want to be focused on us. Yeah, baby. The little pink ones, I'm not sure where they went. You can check that bag right there, sissy, but I'm not sure. The gray bag, or hey, look right here on the counter. Um, so yeah, so let me just tell y'all. So for example, I will be in Michigan in April. I will be speaking and I will be speaking and I will be leading 2 breakout sessions for the Michigan Rural Caucus in April. So I'll be doing 2 breakout training sessions for Michigan. Okay. I will also be in Virginia for the Virginia Rural Caucus. And I will be kicking that off as their keynote speaker and also sharing some things with them. So for me, you might say, well, why am I doing rural stuff? Well, I have a rural background. I'm from Northeast Tennessee. And for the last couple of years, I've done some projects for ruralorganizing.org, which is a fantastic organization that looks at the needs of rural people. So, well, yeah. So Raquel, when you say, are there no legal or constitutional stops? Yes. And you saw that, right? So you saw some of that whenever Donald Trump put in the funding freeze and different things like that. And that's why you see these court cases. So what has to happen is there are 2 avenues that can stop what this administration is doing. The first would be the judicial branch. The second would be the legislative branch. Okay. The judicial branch and the legislative branch. Okay. That is where it works. So that is why it is important now more than ever that you get to know your elected officials on every level and that they know who you are and that you are loud and that you are informed and that you are all about talking to your neighbors and making sure that your neighbors are informed, right? This is the time that your representatives need to know who you are. organizations do you recommend donating to? I don't know enough of them for me to tell you, right? But what I can tell you is, like, I personally know the folks at ruralorganizing.org, and they are amazing and fantastic. Sean and Matt are brilliant. So is Joe and Afton. Like, I just know they do really great work when it comes to rural issues, and worried about rural people, right? So that's what I would say about them. Of course, the ACLU is going to be one because they have got a shit ton of lawsuits that are going to be working these cases. I would also, I don't know if Midas has a way to donate, but they also have a ton of the court cases going on as well, right? So those are the things that I would be saying. So those two things, when you say what are our checks and balances, it is the judicial branch and the legislative branch. Southern Poverty League as well. Yep, Josh, agreed. So those are the two places that you want to make yourself known. And we're going to talk about ways to do that too here in just a minute. Let me see. Do you think we'll be able to overcome this beast through legal tenders, or do you think it may come to civil uprising? So, Leslie, I tell people all the time, I am not Miss Cleo. I cannot foresee into the future what I think. And I think, I'm not sure what you mean by civil uprising. What I think is that it is going to be ridiculously important for people to use every avenue. And I think there will be different people that are doing different things, and nobody is right and nobody is wrong. Okay. So, like, I'm going to give you an example, right? So we had Martin Luther King Jr., right? And then we had Malcolm X, and they both had very, very different approaches to the issues, right? Very different approaches. And one was for one and one was not for the other. So you have got to figure out, what is it that works for you? Where do you fit in? Where is your role? Right? And so this is the thing. So, guys, listen, you all are just way out. Let me just teach you something really quickly so that you can ask yourself this question every time you start to feel kind of crazy. If you are anxious and worried, that means you are living in the future. If you are anxious and worried, you are in the future and you are worried about things that have not happened. All right. If you are depressed or regretful, you are living in the past. Right now, it is going to become very, very important for everyone to learn how to live in the present in the present tense, right? Live in the present moment right now. And the only thing that you can do is say, oh, I'm hearing a little whisper about that. And then say, all right, so what is the logical thing that I can do about it, if I can do about it? If you can't do anything about it, folks, then keep pushing, because there ain't shit you can do about it. Some of this stuff you're not going to be able to do anything about, period. Okay. So this is what I'm asking people to do, right? Because so many people come to my lives and say, oh, this is such great information, and oh my gosh, you should be in Congress, and oh my gosh, you should be here and you should be there. Well, guess what? You guys are the way that it's going to happen. You are the way that you can make it happen, right? So if you believe that the things that I say are important and more people should hear them, then like, share, subscribe, all the things, right? That's it. That's how you help, right? You want to help? Go download the damn podcast. Go listen to it. Go share it. All the things. And then we're going to work together. We're going to implement together. So things that I foresee happening, right, in the future are coordinated events that happen in multiple states at the same time, in groups of 10 to 50 or more. Right. So here's what I mean by that. So let's just say that we plan on one particular weekend to all be going out into a protest, to carry signs, or to visit our state capitals, or to whatever that might look like. Right. To go out and hand out information to voters, whatever that looks like. And then here's what happens. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's just say we plan that, and let's say we plan it for the second weekend in March. I'm just throwing out a weekend, right? So let's just say that we plan that, or for the third week in March. Let's say we plan it for the third week in March. And let's just say that we end up having, you can get together in your community, you can get together 10 people that are willing to do this thing with you. Got it? And then you take your signs, you do your protest, whatever it is. Right. But so listen. I'm not just talking about at your state capitol. I'm talking about in your streets. And here's the difference. Here's how you do it. You can't do a one and done and a one-off. Can I share with you how you do this shit and be effective? It is not enough to simply show up and do it. So do you want to know one of the ways that you do it? You do it, and every single person in every state use the same hashtag. Every single person in every single state use the exact same hashtag, posting all of your pictures, all of your videos, all of your thoughts, and you do that entire day when everybody is out doing that. And, right, you send letters to the editor. Y'all think I'm kidding. You tag all of your local media in it. You tag your local, state, and federal representatives in those posts with that hashtag. You are now holding them accountable. And let me tell you what happens. When you have, let's just say we have, 100 people in 10 states, 100 people in 10 states doing the same thing on the same weekend, all of a sudden that's newsworthy. All of a sudden, that's worth listening to. That gets someone's attention, even the media, right? And so these are the types of things that have to be done. And you have to do it every single time. Other things that you got to learn how to do is how do you protest? How do you protest peacefully? People think that you know how. You think, oh, I just show up and I just say I'm going to be peaceful. That doesn't always work. It's different when you have agitators amongst you, when you have police officers in your face, when you have, angst in front of you. So you've got to listen, when you are doing these types of things, if you are going to put yourself in a leadership position in your community, then you better make sure that you know the people that you have at the front of that line are well-versed, well-tempered, level-headed individuals who can do the work that needs to be done. And no matter what happens, keep themselves straight. You hear me? So I'm going to give you an example. When I went to Standing Rock to protest with the Native American, and actually wasn't protesting. We were protecting the sacred burial grounds of Native Americans, and we were protecting their water source. And so when we went up there that weekend to do that with them, you would go in, and the very next morning there was an orientation. And that orientation talked about all of these different things that you needed to know about how to move, where to volunteer, how to do this, how to do that. And get this, if you were someone who wanted to go on the front lines, you had to go through a training. You had to go through a training to ensure that you were doing it the right way. Do you know that if you're going to go out into the streets and you're going to protest, I'm going to tell you what, baby? Oh, so cute. I love it, Belle. I'm going to tell you right now, do not wear bandanas over your face. Do not wear big backpacks. Do not wear gas masks. Do not do any of that. Do you want to know why? That signals a level of aggression. Whether you mean for it to or not, that will signal and it will invite a level of aggression. When you show up and you're in just your plain clothes and they can see you don't have anything on you and you're just in, and you're holding up just a sign and that's it. It brings the level down a notch. So these are all things that we're going to be talking about as we move forward. Right now, what is the one thing that I have asked everyone to focus on when we think about it from an election standpoint? What's the election that I have asked people to focus on right now? Thanks, Lisa. There is an upcoming election that I've asked everyone to pay attention to. What is it? Special election in Florida. Special election in Florida. Which districts is it? Which districts is it? Which districts? District 1 and District 6. That's right, Stacey D. And if you do not live in Florida, what can you be doing? You can be phone banking for them. You can be text banking from them for them. You can be donating to those candidates. You can be doing all the things. All the things that those are happening on April 1st. Those 2 seats, and let me just tell you, they are gerrymandered to hell and they are heavily Republican. However, I want you to not think short term. I want you to think long term. So let's just say that one of those districts is 65-35 and the other one is, I don't know, 80-20 or 75-25, right? So think about this. Let's just say that you 100% do all the things. Let's say you go to mobilize.us, right? You go to mobilize.us and you sign up for phone banking. Go to mobilize.us, Lisa, and look for postcard opportunities for Florida. You can do it. Go to mobilize.us and you can find out how to text bank. You can find out how to phone bank. You can find out how to do postcards, all of those things. And then you can be sharing things that are specific to those districts on your social media channels between now and then. So let's just say you don't flip those seats blue. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but let's just say you don't. But let's just say that 65-35 is now 55-45. Holy shit, folks, that's good when we start to talk about the midterms, right? That's moving the needle. That is moving the needle. You understand? I want you all to think about how much time passed. And if you're on YouTube and Facebook, you can't see what I'm holding up. Well, hold on. I might be able to show it to you. Let me just see really quickly. Give me 1 second, folks. Sissy,
Yeah.
why you sound so crazy?
Mm.
Nothing. You're just singing and jumping around and all kinds of stuff. All right. So for those of you guys on YouTube and on Facebook, this is what TikTok sees in the background. Let me share this photo with them, you guys. Yep, mobilize.us. Thanks, Receive Grace. All right. So this is what they see. All right. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is I want you to think about how much time passed between this black and white photo and this color photo right here. Think about how much time passed between those 2 photos. And he never stopped. He never wavered. He never gave up. He found different ways of doing the same work. You cannot be attached to the outcome. You have to be attached to the work. You have to be dedicated to the work of making things happen, of making things progress, of doing things right. And know that it may or it may not happen in your lifetime. But for me, if it happens in my daughter's lifetime, great. If it happens in my grandbaby's lifetime, great, right? The one thing that the Republican Party has been terrific at is the damn long game. They've been at this shit for the last 12 years, heavy, y'all. 12 years heavy. Actually, it goes further back than that. You're welcome, Mastiff Mom, right? So I want you to be thinking about all of these things. There's a nonprofit in Washington, D.C. called End Citizens United. That is one of the things that needs to happen. And I don't know how it will happen, but they are one that you might want to talk to, right? Because that's how we get dirty money and dark money out of politics. Right. So over the next however long we are in this, folks, we are going to be talking about all the things. Right, Tina, it's about the work. It is what did I say? I said, oh, what? Yeah, I can repeat that. Here's what I said. So Citizens United is a court case, and that court case happened back in I think 2010, 2010. Okay. And 2010, 2013. And that court case then said that corporations had the same rights as people to freedom of speech, and their campaign contributions were just corporations exercising their free speech. And that is how we got a ton of corporate, dirty, dark money in politics. And this is why Citizens United needs to end. Citizens United is how we got a lot of foreign influence, because when you start to talk about businesses, then you really start to talk about foreign influence that can come into our elections via corporations and their dark money. Right. But Angie, so when I'm talking about being in the streets, I'm not talking about just at a protest. I'm talking about something that would be meaningful. So here's what I would love to do. I'm going to give an example. Here's what I would love to do. I would love for folks to head out the third weekend of March, everyone, with a set of information. And I can put the graphics together for you. I can make them available on a Google Drive. And they would be like myth versus fact about all the different subjects that are relevant to you and your community, and how laws and legislation are impacting them, how the current people that are representing you have voted along those lines, those types of things. So so Thea Perry, let me just say this. I hate it when people talk about term limits. Do you want to know why? We are the term limits. We are the term limits, folks. If we vote people the fuck out, we don't need term limits. We have to not be lazy. We have to not be lazy. We are the term limits. We, the people, are the term limits. But so let me just say this, okay? I'm going to talk about something, and I just want to kind of put it in. I'm going to use a hot button issue, okay? I'm going to use, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by what? It means how long someone can stay in office. So the president can only serve 2 terms. Members of Congress do not have term limits. I don't believe that federal judges should be lifetime appointments, or the Supreme Court, right? Okay, but follow me. So I'm going to use one thing, and I'm going to tie it into a bunch of other things. Are you ready? Watch how I do this, okay? So let's just say that on the third weekend of March, that Saturday, we're all going to go out into our communities with information regarding DEI. Let's just say we're all going to do that. You ready? Yeah, so now you have to figure out how to make them not apathetic, Thea. That's the key. Why are people apathetic? Why are people apathetic? And then who do we need to be to get people not to be apathetic? That's the conversation. Awesome, Stacy. So check this out. So watch. I'm going to say that I'm talking about DEI, but watch how I touch on this, and I'm going to pull it into a bunch of different ways. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay. So, and I'm going to do, and then I'm going to tell you that we would have sources listed on the back for all of this. You ready? So listen, so the first thing that I would let people know is that the 53% of white women have benefited from DEI the most, right? That would be the first thing that I would say to them. But then I would say, do you know what diversity, what DEI includes? DEI includes children who are differently abled. DEI includes senior citizens. DEI includes Black and brown people. DEI includes women of all races and ethnicities. DEI equals people of different socioeconomic statuses. DEI equals rural people and innocent people and inner city people. DEI, hey Sandy. Yeah, Redwood, it's on Facebook. So DEI, yep, DEI equals veterans. Correct. So DEI is not just about Black and brown people, nor is DEI affirmative action. DEI, if we just take it for the 3 words that it stands for understanding diversity, right, Tracy, LGBTQIA people. John, I always say differently abled instead of disabled. I always say differently abled, right? But so, right, they have different abilities. So check this out. So when I talk about DEI to people, I want to take the words just one at a time and say, first of all, can we understand the difference between DEI and affirmative action? Because they're not the same thing. And affirmative action is about having quotas, right? A certain percentage of your staff, a certain percentage of your students, they have to have, it has to be of a minority, right? But that's not what DEI is. DEI has nothing to do with how many Black or brown people work in your organization. That's not what it has to do with. Not real DEI. Real DEI is about being able to recognize, acknowledge, and understanding our differences. What are the things that make us different? Right? Right? Everybody. Right, Jeff. Right? So it's about being able to say, oh, I get it. This is why you believe the way you do. I got it. So so being able to understand what makes us diverse and being able to understand someone else's culture, someone else's disabilities, someone else's abilities, someone else's, right? Being able to understand that, to have some sort of understanding of it because you've never experienced it, is a good thing. It equips us. It helps us see things. Right. I know, Tina, but some people do, right? Some people do. But just to say that understanding that diversity, equity, inclusion is about being able to see what makes us different from each other and learn about those differences to expand our knowledge. And I think everyone can agree. And this is how I would ask people. So, talking to people, listen, I just want to ask a couple of questions. So first, let me just ask you this before we dive in. Let me ask this one thing. Do you agree that knowledge is power? Accurate knowledge is powerful when you have it and you use it. Do you think it's good when we learn? Everyone is going to say yes. Great. Then that's what diversity, that's what DEI is. It's about learning. DEI is about learning about our diversities. DEI is learning about our differences so that we can treat each other equitably, which means ramps to buildings, which means IEPs in school, which means 504s in school, right? Which means an interpreter, a sign language interpreter for your meetings, right? So that's what the equitable part is, so that everyone has the ability to have the same experience or access to the same experience. Right. So follow me. If I'm sitting in an all hands meeting, let's just say this. Thanks, Smile City. Let's say I'm sitting in an all hands meeting and I'm deaf and everyone around me is hearing abled. Right. And there's a PowerPoint presentation going on and has audio and I can't hear. And that PowerPoint presentation I can't read lips, or even if I could, it doesn't have a person that's talking, but I can't hear. So I don't have access to the same information that everybody else has. Therefore, it's not equitable. Thanks, Farah, right? I don't have the same access. And that's what equity means. So equity in this case would be making sure that you either have a little box where someone is signing, right? Or you have someone in the room that can sign the PowerPoint that's happening, so that the person who cannot hear is able to have access to the same information. Closed caption as well. Got it? So those are just different ASL interpreters, closed captions, whatever is necessary. But do you see, that is what, so when we learn about our differences, it teaches us how to make equitable choices in our work environments, in our friendships, in our home lives, in all of the circumstances, right? And then everybody is included. Do you see how that works? That's all DEI is. Listen, diversity, equity, inclusion is me knowing that I had somebody ask me the other day, what is a holler? Listen, I'm from Northeast Tennessee. I don't have no fancy way of telling you what it is, but I can tell you it's the damn little gap in between them two mountains. It's the holler, right? Right? But okay, but if you don't know that, if you don't know where someone comes from or how people think or whatever, it's very, very easy to make assumptions or judgments about people. Diversity, the diversity part of DEI, the diversity part is simply learning about our differences, discovering what makes us different from one another so that we can make equitable choices in our environments so that everyone is included. Now, the only people that would have a problem with that are people that don't want everyone included. And I don't want to, and I don't want to belong to those people's clubs because those people are assholes. Right? So let me share with you. Can I share with you another way? And this is me. So the question, this is the way that I frame language. I will ask people often, hey, Mama Dukes, I will ask people often, is it okay? Can I share something with you? Can I share something with you? Share is softer and more inclusive than tell. Can I tell you something? That on tell is harsh, right? Can I tell you something? No. May I share something with you? One of my other favorites that I get great permission with is I will ask people, may I make an observation? Now listen, whatever happens after that, I got permission. May I make an observation? And I don't tell people I want to educate you. I just want to give you some information. Right. Diversity just is. Diversity is. I said that same thing today, Tina. I said, let me just tell you something. It doesn't matter whether you paint over the walls and take policies down. We are diverse and we just are. And that's never going to change. Matter of fact, it's only going to continue, right? I don't even say why you're wrong. Why you're wrong is bad, Alex. No, it's may I share something with you? When you tell someone they're wrong, that immediately puts them on the defensive. Thanks, health and happiness. What's up, Hilda? Right? So, can I share something with you? One of the ways that DEI is important for you and your loved ones is because it impacts women. It impacts your ability to get health care. It impacts your ability to do everything. And I'm not just talking about AB. And so for you guys on Facebook and YouTube, I have to say AB for TikTok. They don't like the whole word, right? So here's the thing. When I talk about having access to healthcare, can I share with you one of these negative impacts of this legislation that actually has nothing to do with AB? And they're going to say, sure. And I'm going to say, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that hospitals are understaffed currently? Yep. Here's a fun status. Did you know that, 84 counties in Ohio do not have access to a hospital that has either OB care or a birthing center? 84 out of 88 counties has either no access or access to only one hospital that has OB care or a birthing center. And that is true of 57% of the counties in the United States of America. And that's a real statistic, y'all, 57%. Okay. So this is when I want to talk to people about reproductive rights, I don't talk to them about when does life begin or any of that. I don't care what you think, and you shouldn't care what I think. I'll tell you what we need to know is that it is really, really hard right now to get physicians into healthcare systems and private practices and hospitals, right? We know for sure that our healthcare system is lacking. And so, one of the things that is happening is we have more and more and more maternity deserts. Now, what happens when we have maternity deserts? That means we don't have access to care for people who want to have babies. So, for all of you guys that want children, this legislation that is preventing ABs is actually making it harder for those of you who want to have babies. Why? Because OBGYNs are leaving your state. Medical students are choosing not to become OBGYNs. All of those things are true. And you can actually show people how that impacts them just in their regular everyday life. So, one of the ways that you get really smart about having this conversation with people is you find out, hey, TB, don't spam the comments, please. Don't spam the comments. You've said the same thing 3 or 4 times now. Either find some other words in your vocabulary or you'll be gone. I've already asked people, do not spam the comments. Okay. So, so here's the thing, folks, you can find out. So did you know that Tennessee and Texas are number 1 for and 2 for rural hospital closures? Did you all know that? Texas and Tennessee are number 1 and number 2 for rural hospital closures. It's important. More and more of our small towns and rural communities are losing their hospitals, or they're becoming monopolies. And guys, it's not hard. So I do a training where I show people how to talk about healthcare in just like 4 bullet points. Now, do you see how I took DEI? I took DEI and I went to women. And when I went to women, I'm now talking about healthcare as a whole and how as an unintended consequence of these bans, right? An unintended consequence is you're actually harming the people. You're making it more difficult to have children because now you have more and more hospitals that do not have OB care or a birthing center. That means you also don't have the GYNs to diagnose endometriosis and PCOS and ovarian cyst and uterine cancer and all of those things, right? So now I'm not talking about, oh, it is true. So, hey, Michael, come on up and join the panel. I invited you to come up to the panel. I sent you an invitation. All you have to do is click yes, and it'll bring you right up here. Michael came in and said, nope, that's not true. So I just sent Michael an invitation to join the panel because when anybody says that something I'm saying isn't true, then we need to have a fact-based conversation, which I'm happy to have with anybody. Because what I can do is I can produce the actual sources to show you exactly what I'm saying is accurate, right? And so for anybody that gets in my comments and says, oh, no, you're lying, or no, that's not true, then I'm going to ask you to get up on the panel and we're going to have a fact-based conversation. No, don't mute him just yet, Linda. Don't mute him just yet. I want Michael to have the ability. So now we've got retaliatory tariffs on the US from Mexico. That just happened, just so we know. We just had retaliatory tariffs. All right, Denise. Thanks, Val. Where'd you go, Michael? I haven't seen you since I sent you the invitation. So, folks, in my link tree, you're going to see a link that says March of Dimes Deloitte dashboard. I want you to be very, very careful when you use it. So for my YouTube and Facebook folks, give me a second and I'm going to show you what it looks like. TikTok, I'll flip the screen around and I'll show you too, right? No, not you, Michael Anthony. It was a different Michael. All right, Denise, will do. Yeah, I know, Linda. So here we go. I want to show you guys something very quickly. Yeah, baby. Yes. So I'm going to show you all something. No, you're good. So can I show you guys something? So my TikTok folks, I want you to give me just a second. Because I'm going to bring you down for just a second. Bear with me. And I'm going to turn you around so that you can see what I'm doing on my actual computer. So give me a sec while I first take my enhancement down. And then while oh my Lord, TikTok want me to do a damn puzzle. Okay. Oh my Lord. Why is TikTok wanting me to do? Okay. Thank you. Jesus. All right. So now let me flip my camera around. All right. So do you all see this map? Let me go back and show my YouTube and Facebook folks. I'm going to show you guys the same map. So this is a great thing that is in my link tree. All right. So the reason I love this, okay, is it uses March of Dimes statistics, but this over here says select a topic. Can you all see that right there? See where it says access to maternity care? I'm going to show you access to a hospital with OB care or a birthing center. Now, do you see how it says no access is 56.49% of the country? So there are a total of 3,142 counties in the country. 1,775 of those counties have no access to a hospital that has OB care or a birthing center. 28.74% has only one hospital in their county that has OB care or a birthing center. So do the math. What is 57 plus 29? 86, right? 86% of the country has either one or no hospital in their county that has access to a hospital with OB care or a birthing center. So when I say this, and guys, the link to this tool is in my link tree for you. I want you to be equipped with this information. So when you talk to people, you're not giving them like possibilities. You are giving them hard facts. Hard facts. Now watch this. I'm from Tennessee, born and raised. So let's go to Tennessee. So in the state of Tennessee, no access is 71.58%. 71.58% has no hospital that has OB care or a birthing center. How about that? And then when you conclude one hospital, that's 24%. 96% of Tennessee's counties either don't have access at all or only have one hospital. They have their babies wherever they get to the fastest. So do you see what I'm saying? Guys, this is in my link tree. So somebody asked me about Georgia. I saw that really quickly. So I'm going to throw Georgia up here for you. Here's Georgia. Georgia, 75.47% of your state has 120 counties that do not have access to a hospital with OB care or a birthing center. 75%. How about that? Y'all notice it's only Atlanta. Y'all notice it's only this Athens and Atlanta area and Savannah. They the only ones that have access. Y'all see that, right? I just want y'all to I really just want y'all to know. Y'all see what I'm telling you? Now, Matt, do you know how powerful it is when you take this information and then you look up how many hospitals in your state have closed in the last 10 years, right? So, Pennsylvania, no access is 28%. Low access, meaning only one hospital, is 49%. So, half of your counties have one hospital that has it. Now, I'm going to show you things that you will notice when you get into red places. Let's go down here to Oklahoma. There's Oklahoma, 67.5%, no access. Texas, 56%, no access. North Carolina, 56%, no access. This is not having access to a hospital that has OB care or a birthing center. It has gotten progressively worse as time has gone on. Folks, this is in your link tree. This is in my link tree that you have access to. The link to this site, give me 1 second. I need to get set back up here for folks. Give me 1 sec. Let me stop sharing. All right. So the information is available to you. Why am I sharing this with you? Because I want you to recognize, folks, that when you have information that you can share with people, no, Renee, so listen, don't add anything to it. Don't add anything to it. And guys, I will do a separate training about how to talk about healthcare with people. That's not the purpose of tonight. Okay? That is not the purpose of tonight. We will do a whole separate one where we dive into that a little more deep, right? Appreciate it, Michael Anthony. Okay? But for right now, all I'm doing right now is sharing with you how to be impactful, how to do more than just walk the streets and protest. How do you have conversations with your neighbor, with your community, with people around you that's actually going to matter to them? How do you do that? You have a few facts that are like, holy shit, right? Then you have common sense that with these new laws, right? We have malpractice insurance going through the damn roof to where physicians can't even afford to practice in states with AB bans. You have less and less doctors, OBGYNs in your state because they're leaving. And you have fewer medical students becoming OBGYNs. You follow me? And then you start to talk to people about how is healthcare in their region. This is how you make it real for people. Because I bet you money if your city council people are like the ones that I know back home, they don't know these numbers. If your county commissioners are like the ones I know back home, they don't know this information. If your Democratic Party office is like the ones I know, they don't know this information. and neither does your Republican office. But you know that. Some of them don't, Lori. That's the thing. Some of them don't get access. They just have babies. And now what you have is you have some hospitals that deliver babies that aren't really OBGYNs, and they're not actual like birthing centers. They're just delivering babies with general surgeons. So ride one wild horse. I'm going to ask you to not make statements about faith and come in here preaching. We don't do that in my live at all. So please don't do that, and don't type in all caps. But do you understand how impactful? Y'all are still talking about it. This is why I love the data. I hate that. I'm not a data girl, but the reason I love data like this is because it makes conversations possible. How did we get here? Through corporations and greed. An interesting statistic. Alex Mackey is coming back on my podcast with me again to talk about this. One of the things that we know is that the number of physicians compared to administrators in hospitals over the last like 5 years has doubled. It's crazy. You got 5 damn VPs, right? And like one or two physicians. It's insane. The majority of the cost that we see in healthcare is for the administration. So the data is what makes us be able to have these conversations. So, like I said, ACLU, Southern Poverty Law Center, and Citizens United, all of these are organizations that I highly recommend getting to know and supporting in any way that you can. When we talk about mobilizing, which we will be doing, we talk about doing it effectively. I don't care if you go out and you knock 100 damn doors if you don't have a meaningful conversation. That doesn't matter that you knocked 100 doors if you're not having meaningful conversations. How do you know if it's meaningful? Because you can gain understanding even if you don't gain agreement. That's the rule, folks. Stop looking to make people agree with you, and just be open to and ready for understanding. Because the more we understand each other, then the more less likely we are to hurt each other, the more likely we are to consider each other, right? And so that is the objective, is to be doing those things. Okay? So outside of TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube lives, I will be holding, it has to be a court case, Desi. It has to be the right court case, a good court case, and all of that. So what I would recommend is going to the End Citizens United website and reading a little bit about their initiative and what they think needs to happen. Now, let me say this. It's not about why they're so hateful, Lamani. That's not what it's about. And you're grouping them all together, which we cannot do. If you listen, listen, y'all, you cannot keep putting them all together in one category. You can't, or we are not going to come back from this. So outside of these lives, not all of them are hateful, Renee. Exactly, Michael Anthony. Yes, you have to be able to know where you're wasting energy and where you're not. So let me just tell y'all this. Go to my podcast, go to the Danny Cook Show, go listen to the episode that is called How We Win. And then come back to me. That's what I would have you do. All right. Tony, I don't know what you're talking about. It's easier if you just tell me what you're talking about. Because their main website doesn't have their landing page, their web page doesn't have a flag on it. So I don't know what you're talking about. So it's just easier if you tell me what you're talking about or what you're referring to. All right. So again, we are going to be talking about more of these things, but outside of these lives, we're going to be doing trainings. We're going to be doing all types of things. I don't see it on the website, Black Tony, so I don't know. And again, I don't even know that I care, to be honest. I don't even know that I care. So listen, guys, when we talk about things that we need to be giving our energy to, you got to be selective about that. So Bridget Twin Mom, I would ask you, so Bridget Twin Mom, just for you guys over here, she put a comment and said, I'm crying watching self-deportation videos from DACA recipients, so I came here. So Bridget Twin Mom, here would be the thing that I would say to you. Why are you doing that to yourself? Folks, you know, when people say don't look away, here's what I'm going to say to you. Do look away if it is going to traumatize you. But do look away if it is going to traumatize you. Just because I'm not watching a video about every single thing that happened doesn't mean I'm turning a blind eye. I can know something, but let me just say this. I can know a thing, but sitting back watching video after video or newscast after newscast about something is not helpful. How many people do I need to see being swatted up by ICE and having chains put on them and walking around? How many of those do I need to see to understand what's happening? The answer for me is one. And then I'm no longer interested in sitting back watching all those videos. I'm interested in what can I do to change this shit? How can I be impactful? Am I posting and sharing know your rights for people? What's up, DeBoss, right? Am I doing that? Am I sharing with people information that they need to know? Am I contacting my legislators? Am I writing letters to the editor? This is a marathon. Not only do you need to pace yourself, but you need to take water breaks, right? You need to know, you need to do all the things, folks. This is what is going to be necessary. Good point. Thanks, Linda. Right? What's up, T, baby? And let me tell you something. So one of the reasons I don't do it is because I know that I'm a bit of an empath, right? I know that I am. I will share this with you. Do y'all remember back in 2017 when Syria was happening? Do y'all remember when Syria was happening? And every time you turned around, there were images of those babies. Every time you turned around, there was a video, and I can see it today in my head like I'm watching it on TV right now. And it's not the one of them in the fire truck or on the beach. Everybody knows those. There's this one video where there's like a pallet or like wood from a building that's just shattered in the street, right? And there's a boy laying on it that can't be more than 8, 9 years old. 8, 9 years old. Yeah, Nicole Bell, I do. Give me 1 second. And they are talking about a specific type of gas, right? And I can still see, as sure as I'm sitting here right now, this little boy whose head is turned like this. You can see blood, and he's going from the gas. The person that I was talking to at that time was a news junkie and was consuming it all the time. And after about a week of that, I went to get a Reiki massage from a friend of mine. And I wept and I wept and I wept. And she said, "You can feel them, can't you?" And I said, "Yep." And she literally looked at him and said, "She can't take all that." And I can't. I can't. Because I know that we truly are connected to each other. We truly are connected to each other. What happens to the least of us happens to all of us. And we have to stop acting like it doesn't, because it does. Whether you feel it to that same degree or whether you don't, it shows up somewhere in some little sludgy, heavy feeling, and you don't even know where the feeling came from. You ever been just walking around and all of a sudden you just feel heavy? Didn't nothing change? You didn't do nothing different? Like nobody said nothing? Just all of a sudden you get this heavy. It's because we are all connected. And there's a lot of that going around. So you have got to be very careful in the way that you manage yourself and all of this information right now. Very much so. What's up, Fire Rider? Hey, Belle, can you bring that over here? My piece. So today, my piece. So today, what that was for me, literally, yep, was all three of my grandbabies, taking them to the playground, right? And while they're at the playground and they're doing red light, green light, and Simon Says, and all the things, I'm literally, because I finished the painting piece, so I'm literally sitting on the side and I'm starting to do my graphics work. Oh, hold on. So that, hold on, I got to take this down. I'm starting to do my detail work, my graphite work, so that I can focus on something else, right? So this is me today sitting out there. So this is how I breathed today. This is how I managed my emotion today, right? Was starting to do my detail work, right? And so you have to make sure that you take time. That one's going on my wall, T. If you want one, though, I can help you out. Yeah, I sketched the flowers. Yeah. So this is thanks, Arrive. So listen, this is what I'm saying to you is that this is important, folks. So that thanks, Nicole. This is important so that you know how to manage you. I was supposed to be live earlier today. I knew it. I was also juggling things. I had all three babies. They needed to get some outdoor time. It was 62 damn degrees. It was beautiful, right? So we did that so that I could be and ready to do this tonight. So MSB Rad, let me say this to you. I'm going to share something with you that I learned from a phenomenal woman named Brene Brown. You said you numbed your pain. I want to share something with you, folks. You do not get to selectively numb emotions. What's up, Julia J? You do not get to selectively numb your emotions. When you numb your emotion, you numb all of them. You numb them all. I love that, Megan. I love that. You got that? So when you numb pain, you are numbing joy. When you numb hurt, you are numbing vulnerability. When you numb negative emotions, you are numbing the good ones, the ability to feel all the good. And right now, we need as much joy as we can possibly get. We need as much joy, as much happiness, as much peace as we can get. So you have got to find some reasons to be joyful and make sure that you are doing something and feeling them. We are going to be okay. I believe that with every fiber of my being. And so I will be doing everything possible to be okay. And I will be doing everything possible to help as many people as I can be okay. And find the balance between information, organization, right? Action, and peace. Because we have to find those balances and maintain them. And understand that sometimes you're going to be like this. It's going to be like a little seesaw. The goal is, so this is what I think about. I think about an ocean like this, right? So if I ride the highs real high and I ride the lows real low, it is a really rocky, it's a really rocky journey, right? But if I learn to just take it as it comes, nothing gets me real high, nothing gets me real low, then the journey is more like this instead of this. And that is what we have to be going for. So things that we need to be doing right now. Yes, it is to create chaos, 100%. He doesn't know how tariffs work, okay? But so for example, next week I want to do a Google Meet and talk about FOIA requests. And then I want to put some templates for how to do FOIAs in the Google Drive. And then you need to look up your state because your state may have slight differences in their FOIA. So federal FOIA and state FOIA are different. Got it? So that's also one thing that we can be doing. One of the things that, shout out to Jen, because I didn't have the ability to do it. She did it for me. So do you know what we made sure we did, y'all, before this administration took over? The weekend before the inauguration, guess what we did? We downloaded every single transcript and video from the January 6th investigations. We have every interview, every transcript, every video, all of it. Shout out to Jen. Shout out to Jen. Sure do. Because it was important. Because remember, I said, oh my God, I might need some help. Somebody help me get this done. And then she texted me. She was like, I got it all for you. Right? This is what these are the things. So start thinking about things that you know we need to have as part of history. Thank you, Carla. Yeah. Do you know what Jen was doing that while I was treating my babies to a trip to the Georgia Aquarium for the first time in 2 years. Because they've been so patient with me while I've been doing this work. They were all on the website, John. We had them all pulled up when we were reading transcripts on here together. She sure did. She was like, I got you, Danny. Enjoy the babies. And she did. So again, folks, for those of you guys who want to stay in touch, who want to get involved in these trainings, who want to be part of our community in Discord, you need to be going to my Linktree. You need to be filling out the Google form, right? You need to be filling out the Google form that says Danny Cooks TikTokers, Danny's TikTokers, so that I have your email address so I can be in touch with you. That's what you need to be doing. Okay? So now I want to get to the whole purpose of tonight, because it is the very first day of Black History Month. So can we do a little Black history? You guys okay with that? Can we do a little Black history? That's okay, Bridget Twin Mom. It's okay. Nope, I haven't. They're coming. All right, here we go. You ready? So I wanted to start with this amazing man that you see right here, John Lewis. Okay. Because he's my fave. It's not that Martin and Malcolm weren't fantastic and amazing. It's not that there aren't other people. There is just something about the spirit of John Lewis that resonates with me. There is something about him, from this March on the Bridge to Dancing to Happy to all the things to Good Trouble, right, Angie? I'm all about some Good Trouble. It resonates with to my bones. When I think about good, necessary trouble, no, it's not a TikTok form, Amber Johnson. It is a Google form. So in my link tree, so in Facebook, in my about section, I have a link tree, and there's a Google form that you fill out. Right? Nope. Lisa, email's coming. All right. Good. Everybody always says good trouble. Don't forget the other part. It's good, necessary trouble. Good, necessary trouble. That's the part I love, is the necessary trouble. It ain't just that it's good, it is necessary. Right? Don't just do good trouble for no damn reason. Do good trouble because it is necessary. Right? So I wanted to share something with you guys. And this is the speech at the March on Washington on August the 28th of 1963 by John Lewis. You ready? Here it is. We march today for jobs and freedom, but we have nothing to be proud of. For hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here, for they are receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. While we stand here, there are sharecroppers in the Delta of Mississippi who are out in the fields working for less than $3 a day, 12 hours a day. While we stand here, there are students in jail on trumped up charges. Our brother, James Farmer, along with many others, is also in jail. We come here today with a great sense of misgiving. It is true that we support the administration's civil rights bill. We support it with great reservations, however. Unless Title III is put into this bill, there is nothing to protect the young children and old women who must face police dogs and fire hoses in the South while they engage in peaceful demonstrations. In its present form, this bill will not protect the citizens of Danville, Virginia, who must live in constant fear of a police state. It will not protect the hundreds and thousands of people that have been arrested on trumped charges. What about the 3 young men, SNCC field secretaries in Americus, Georgia, who faced the death penalty for engaging in civil protest? As it stands now, the voting section of this bill will not help the thousands of Black people who want to vote. It will not help the citizens of Mississippi, of Alabama, and Georgia who are qualified to vote but lack a 6th grade education. Quote, "One man, one vote is the African cry." It is ours too. It must be ours. We must have legislation that will protect the Mississippi sharecropper who has put off his farm because he dares to register to vote. We need a bill that will provide for the homeless and starving people of this nation. We need a bill that will ensure the equality of a maid who earns $5 a week in a home of a family whose total income is $100,000 a year. We must have a good FEPC bill. My friends, Let us not forget that we are involved in a serious social revolution. By and large, American politics is dominated by politicians who build their careers on immoral compromises and ally themselves with open forms of political, economic, and social exploitation. There are exceptions, of course. We salute those. But what political leader can stand up and say, quote, my party is the party of principles, end quote. For the party of Kennedy is also the party of Eastland. The party of Javits is also the party of Goldwater. Where is our party? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march on Washington? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march in the streets of Birmingham? Where is the political party that will protect the citizens of Albany, Georgia? Do you know that in Albany, Georgia, 9 of our leaders have been indicted, not by the Dixiecrats, but by the federal government for peaceful protest? But what did the federal government do when Albany's deputy sheriff beat attorney C.B. King and left him half dead? What did the federal government do when local police officials kicked and assaulted the pregnant wife of Slater King and she lost her baby? To those who have said, quote unquote, be patient and wait, we have long said that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. We are tired. We are tired of being beaten by policemen. We are tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, quote unquote, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom and we want it now. We do not want to go to jail, but we will go to jail if this is the price we must pay for love, brotherhood, and true peace. I appeal to all of you to get into this great revolution that is sweeping this nation. Get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village and hamlet of this nation until true freedom comes, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. We must get in this revolution and complete the revolution. For in the Delta of Mississippi, in Southwest Georgia, in the Black Belt of Alabama, in Harlem, in Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, and all over this nation, the Black masses are on the march for jobs and freedom. They're talking about slow down and stop. We will not stop. All of the forces of Eastland, Barnett, Wallace, and Thurmond will not stop this revolution. If we do not get meaningful legislation out of this Congress, the time will come when we will not confine our marching to Washington. We will march through the South, through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. But we will march with the spirit of love and with the spirit of dignity that we have shown here today. By the force of our demands, our determination, and our numbers, we shall splinter the segregated South into 1,000 pieces and put them together in the image of God and democracy. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient. That was John Lewis. I love it. So, in preparation for this, in preparation, right, where is our party, Lisa? Where is our party? That's the question, right? Where is our party? What's up, T? So here's what I will do for you guys. I will put that speech in my link tree. How's that? All right, what you got, T?
I can listen to you read the phone book sometimes. I'm in a mood and I'm in a place. I am. You'll have to trust me for a minute. The other night, I sent you I know you get thousands, a DM. It so goes in with every single thing that you're saying tonight. Jennifer Lewis posted, and I sent it to you, and I don't know if you're okay with it, but it's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I think that you should play it, let everybody hear it, because it is so impactful, so strong. It is your words put to her piano. I wished that you could use it for your podcast as your opening, because it's just absolutely freaking amazing. It's so powerful. I think that I don't know, it grabs you by the heart. It grabbed me by the heart because it comes from such a deep place.
Yeah. Let me see. The way that TikTok has been acting funny. I don't know if it'll let me log on the laptop while I'm on here at the same time. But let me just see real quick. Because, sometimes TikTok acts a damn fool.
It does. It absolutely does. They're all of us. I hope everyone in the chat's doing well tonight. Good to see everybody. Thank you for saying hey. Mama's fine. She's watching basketball. She's pissed because Carolina just lost to Duke in an excruciating 30 points.
So Kathmandu, let me just say this. There have been responses. I've seen responses from Bernie and from AOC and from other people. I want to remind you all that you cannot trust the news to show you what you need to know. So, all right. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay. All right. So give me a second. Guys, T's asking me to play this. So let me do it. Y'all know I met her when I was doing the Stacey Abrams campaign. Her crazy ass.
I did not know that. I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
Her spirit is bright.
Yeah.
Her spirit is bright.
She tickled me because she said, let me tell you, Jennifer Lewis, she tickled me because there's this clip where she talks and she says, this is her morning routine. She gets up in the morning, she washes her face, she dries it off, she looks in the mirror, she says, "You pretty bitch." She's hilarious.
Who else? Can't rely on somebody else to bring us the good news. Sometimes you have to do it.
All right, here she is.
If you were to write a song about yourself, what would the first line be? Is it an up-tempo, a ballad? What's the melody? Now sit down and write to yourself. Put it in the form of a letter. Tell the truth, the whole truth. Then ask yourself, do I feel better? Because we're going to need warriors who know who they are. Warriors unafraid. We're going to need warriors who remember the price all of our ancestors paid. We're going to need warriors who are willing to stand. Warriors ready to raise a hand. Warriors who know right from wrong. Warriors who know the road is long. Warriors who are free to sing their song. Free to sing their song. Free to sing their song. Free to sing their song.
Jennifer Lewis, for the person who asked, who is this?
Stand in front of Harriet and Mandela and tell them we're tired.
Nope.
We're going to sit down because we're tired. Warriors who are free to sing their song. Ready? know who we are. Good.
So that was the incomparable Jennifer Lewis. For those of you guys who were asking, I had not seen that.
And you can use it for the opening of your podcast because it's so powerful and it comes from such a rich place.
Yeah.
It's authentic. You know, she ain't Whitney Houston, but the authenticity that comes from,
Yeah.
it's deep. It goes into your own bones and just.
It's not a song, Paris Clark. It's just Jennifer Lewis sitting in front of a. It's on YouTube. It's on her Instagram. It's just Jennifer Lewis. That's who it is. Yeah. So
She's a lovely lady.
she's fantastic. I have a couple of things.
She's trusting me.
Yeah, of course I do. I appreciate you, love. I got a couple other things that I just want to run through before we go tonight. If y'all are good with that,
You can drop me. I love you. Love everybody.
I love you back.
And I will see you soon.
All right, love you, T. All right, so yes, baby,
Almost done.
I am. Got a few things for you, okay? Just a few. Okay, I marked it. Okay, so I have a couple of things that I want to share with y'all this evening. No, that's Bella tonight, Carol. That's Bella. So I have 3 books and I want to share a snippet out of each, if y'all are good with that, in honor of this being the first day of Black History Month. I cannot tell you that they will all tie together. Yeah, Nisi, it is. It's Bella. But they are the 3 that resonated with me the most to be able to share them, okay? So the first, and y'all know me, I talk about this book a lot. This book is Lies My Teacher Told Me. I highly recommend this book, just so that you know. Lies My Teacher Told Me. It's the same, y'all. My socials are the same everywhere. It's the Danny Cook. I hardly ever do anything on my damn IG though, so just telling you. All right, so I'm actually starting in chapter 5 about this book. What's up, Lynn? Okay, and we're gonna be reading for just a minute. We're gonna be reading for a minute. Y'all good with that? Okay, I hope so, because here we go. It starts off with a couple of quotes, right? No, my link tree, Renee, is in my profile up here. Okay. So if you go to my TikTok profile, thank you, Linda, or my Facebook about section or my YouTube about section, that's where my link tree is. Yeah. All right. So there's a couple of quotes at the beginning of this chapter. This chapter is called Gone with the Wind, the Invisibility of Racism in American History Textbooks. The first quote is by Maya Angelou, and it says, "History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, and if faced with courage, need not be lived again." Not so loud, sissy. The next quote is from Ken Burns. "The black-white rift stands at the very center of American history. It is the great challenge to which all our deepest aspirations to freedom must rise. If we forget that, if we forget the great stain of slavery that stands at the heart of our country, our history, our experiment, we forget who we are, and we make the great rift deeper and wider." W. Du Bois, depending on how you say it. "We have got to the place where we cannot use our experiences during and after the Civil War for the uplift and enlightenment of mankind." And the last is a quote from Warren Beck and Miles Clowers. "More Americans have learned the story of the South during the years of the Civil War and Reconstruction from Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind than from all of the learned volumes on this period." When was the country we now know as the United States first settled? Well, if we forget the lesson of the last chapter for the moment, that Native Americans settled, the best answer might be 1526. In the summer of that year, 500 Spaniards and 100 black slaves founded a town, perhaps near the mouth of the PD River in present-day South Carolina. Disease and disputes with nearby Indians caused many deaths in the early months of the settlement. And in November, the slaves rebelled, killed some of their masters, and escaped to the Indians. By then, only 150 Spaniards survived. They retreated to Haiti. The ex-slaves remained behind and probably merged with nearby Indian nations. This is cocktail party trivia, I suppose. American history textbooks cannot be faulted for not mentioning that the first non-native settlers in the United States were black. Educationally, however, the incident has its uses. It shows that Africans, is it too early to call them African Americans, rebelled against slavery from the first. It points to the important subject of three-way race relations, Indian, African, European, which most textbooks completely omit. It teaches that slavery cannot readily survive without secure borders. And symbolically, it illustrates that African Americans and the attendant subject of black-white relations, race relations, were part of American history from the first European attempts to settle. Perhaps the most pervasive theme in our history is the domination of Black America by white America. Race is the sharpest and deepest division in American life. Issues of Black-white relations propelled the Whig Party to collapse, prompted the formation of the Republican Party, and caused the Democratic Party to label itself, quote, the white man's party for almost a century. One of the first times Congress ever overrode a presidential veto was for the 1866 Civil Rights Act, passed by Republicans over the wishes of Andrew Johnson. Senators mounted the longest filibuster in U.S. history, more than 534 hours to oppose the 1964 Civil Rights Bill. Thomas Byrne Edsall has shown how race prompted the sweeping political realignment of 1964 to 1972, in which the white South went from a Democratic bastion to a Republican stronghold. Race still affects politics. George W. Bush won just 11% of the black vote, but 57% of the white vote in 2004. I need to pause for just a moment. I'm sorry. Give me just a. Ceylon, Cleelon. I've sent you an invitation to come to the panel. Come on. Let's have a chat. You have like 10,000 followers. Come on, let's talk about your statement. Hey, Cleelon, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good. So can you, just because some people might not have seen it, can you share with people what your statement was?
Well, I had nothing to do with slavery. I was raised in a very poor home.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Cleelon, Cleelon, wait, hold on, please. Hold on. Wait. Oh my, Cleveland, hold on one moment.
I love everybody.
I'm not talking about you. Hold on for a second and please stop talking over me. I want to have a respectful conversation with you. What I ask you to do is to share with people who did not see what you wrote, your comment and what your comment said. Can you share with them what your comment was?
Yeah, I said, well, I mean, if you have such a problem with us, why don't you just eliminate all of us?
No, that's not what you said.
Something similar to that.
Here's what you said. You said, why do we want to keep using race about things? And why do we want to eliminate white people? That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's not the same thing. So
my second statement was what I said. The reason that I say that, I have to be real honest with you here. I'm scared I am personally scared to go around black people because I think they hate my guts just because I'm white. They hate my guts just because I'm white, and I did not do anything to the black people, nothing. And I was raised a lot poorer than a lot of black people.
Okay. So, hey guys, remember in the comments,
I didn't have any privilege.
guys, remember in the comments to be respectful. Okay. Let's do that first. Make sure that you are respectful. All right. So first, Cleelon, today is the first day of Black History Month, right? So what I'm doing, how long have you been in my live? Did you just get in my live for just a minute? Okay, great. Great. Hold on.
White people don't have a white history month.
Cleelon, hold on one moment, please. Okay. So the book that I'm reading from is a real scholarly book talking about historical facts of the country. So it's not about bringing up race to do anything. It's literally reading about the history of the country. That's it. That's what I was doing here. This was no discussion. Hold on one second. There was no discussion about white people or black people or whatever. But since
it is race, it is about race. Is there here? Let me say this. This is what I would like to do. I would love for us to turn this hate that everybody has around to love, and we would be living in paradise. And everybody would get along with everybody. I'm sorry that the police do the stupid things they do. And I'm sorry that you think that we're all privileged. I'm not privileged. I went to jail. I couldn't even get on a telephone because there was no offense here. I want to tell you, no offense. I went to jail on a trumped up charge, and all I wanted to do was use a telephone. You're allowed to have a telephone call, but they have the telephone out in general public, and 3 black guys covered the telephone, and I never got a telephone call because they would not let me have the phone.
Okay, so I want to hold on for just a moment, okay? And I'm going to talk about a couple of different things, and I want us to see if we can have a respectful conversation, okay?
But I'm scared of black people.
Cleelon, can we agree to have a respectful conversation?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
great. So I want to first start with something that you said. You said that white people don't have a White History Month. Okay. And I want to address that first and foremost. The reason why white people don't have a White History Month is because there has never been a need for it, because your history, European history, white American history has always been taught and acknowledged and celebrated. That's why we have Columbus Day. That's why we have Thanksgiving holidays. There has never been a need to highlight white history because it is the standard of history in this country. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share something with you. So white people in the United States of America are the default. So, and I'll share with you what I mean. If you see a news article, Cleelon, and you're reading a news article, the only time you see, and they say there was a woman or a man or there were people, the only time you see the race or ethnicity of those people mentioned is if they're not white. You never see an article that just talks about a regular event and said, yep, there was a bunch of white people and white things happened. You never hear that. The only time you see, and the reason why is when you just read people, the understanding is that people refers to white people. Because if it's any other kind of people, we'll tell you. We will say black people, Mexican people, Hispanic people, Venezuelan people. We'll tell you. But if there's no mention of that, the default is that they are white.
And I replied,
right. Well, I don't want you to reply. What I want to finish with a question is, the question is, can we agree that that's the truth when it comes to the default?
Yes, I mean, I've heard, a lot of that, but I would like to have a rebuttal. I would like to debate this.
in the news media, if there is a white on black crime, it's blasted all over the media. But if it's a black crime against a white person, you never hear about it. Never.
So you just said you want to debate on something, and what you're talking about is not what I just talked about, right? So I want to make sure that we keep. Hold on, Cleland, 1 minute. What I want to do is make sure that we don't mix things together. I want to take things one piece at a time. Okay. So the very first thing that we are talking about is the fact that you made the statement that white people don't have a White People's History Month. And my explanation to that is because your history is the history that is the default history. White people are the default for people in this country. And we both said that we can agree on that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we'll just take that and we'll move it to the side. All right. So the second thing that we could talk about is when we talk about crime, period. All right. Crime, period. When you hear when crime is committed by a white person against a white person, nobody ever talks about the fact that they are white. You don't ever hear people talk about white on white crime, but you always hear people talk about black on black crime.
Statistics show that on black crime is 71% higher.
No, sir.
Than, yeah, I'll get the statistics for
I
you.
can give it to you. I will tell you right now, white on white crime and black on black crime are both 83 and 86%. And do you know why? Because crime happens as a result of proximity. It happens as a result of proximity. So when most black people live around black people, that's where most crime is committed. And same thing for white people. So the statement that you just made is not true. What happens is about 86% of crimes against black people are committed by black people, and about 83% of white crimes against white people are committed by white people, because it actually has nothing to do with race about where those crimes are committed or who they're committed against. It has to do with proximity. And because black people tend to live around more black people, then they have more crimes around black people. And white people tend to live around more white people, so they have more crimes against white people. It's the community. Yeah. So there is no 71% higher about black on black crime. That's not a thing. Both of those communities have their crimes against the other. But
I did see that though, but I mean, maybe it's a false, flag or whatever.
Well, I can tell you for certain that it is, because I can give you the numbers from the FBI statistics.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What I would like to do is get to the point where I feel comfortable. I'm scared to get gas in a black neighborhood.
So do you walk everywhere you go?
No, I drive, but I'll drive further to, so that I don't feel like my life is in danger. So
I do the same thing.
I want to talk about that.
Well, I do the same thing, and I'll share with you why. So hold on for a second. Wait, Cleland.
This is what I want to talk about. This is the most important thing to me.
Okay.
This is the most important thing to me. I would like for this race to stop. I would like to just eliminate it. I would like for us to be colorblind and all of us just love each other. And what I would like to ask from you, and my question to you, is how are we ever going to get to a point where we just love each other as human beings and just care about each other and just care and love each other and help each other as human beings without race being involved at all?
Well, I'll share with you when you all can
ever happen.
When you all, let me just, and I'll explain it to you. When white people do the work to dismantle the racism that exists within the systems, right? So when racism will end when white people end it, because black people didn't start racism. So racism will end whenever white people end it. So that would be number one, right? Number two.
I personally don't know any race.
Well, I do. And so, Cleland, I let you interrupt and I'll let you say what you wanted to say. And I want to address a couple of things that you said. Okay, so so let me just share this with you. Okay, so you said that you're afraid to get gas in a Black community, right? And here's my thing: historically speaking, in this country, have there ever been sundown towns where white people had to leave before the sun went down, or they were going to be hung from trees, or did that only occur with Black and brown people?
That did occur, but that was over 100 years.
No, it was not, sir. That was in my daddy's lifetime. No, sir, that was not over 100 years ago. That was not 100 years ago. That is in my father and my mother's lifetime. My parents could not legally get married anywhere in the United States of America. When they got married, they had to get married in a particular state because it was illegal to get married elsewhere. And there are still sundown towns today. So I want to be clear, it wasn't 100 years ago. It exists today. And there's literally a whole record of them.
Well, I didn't know that. I mean, I have no
Right.
idea that. I don't hang around anything like that.
Well, so the reason why is you're not Black. You don't have to worry about a sundown town because nobody's going to hang you, Cleelon. So why should you know about sundown towns? Because you don't have to know. You have the privilege of not knowing about sundown towns because they don't affect you.
I guess that would be true.
Right. So when we, so,
I would love to see.
but hold on, wait, I want to finish. I want to, Cleelon,
Human race.
Cleelon, I want to finish addressing what you said. Okay. A couple of things. So you said, you guessed that would be true. And it is true. And so you said, oh, I don't have any privilege because I grew up poor. I want to talk about the different types of privilege that people have. Okay. So there's economic privilege. Okay. Which you did not have.
None.
There's racial privilege, which you do have. There's gender privilege, which you also have, right? Because you're a male. Okay. There is, in some cultures, there's a caste privilege, right? Which wouldn't apply to you. But there's many different ways that a person can have privilege. And oftentimes those privileges intersect. So understand the most privileged person in this country is a cis, heterosexual, white male. That is the most privileged person in this country. And then it gets less and less depending upon all of those other places. So when we talk about privilege is not just economic. Privilege is the color of your skin. And I'll give you an example. When my father came back from Vietnam, white veterans could go and they could use their VA home loans to buy houses. Black soldiers could not. And my daddy had 2 tours in Vietnam. So see, for white soldiers, that white skin was a privilege for them to get their home loans for serving in the military, but my father could not use them. So that's a privilege.
I can see that.
Right. So when you say you never had privilege, it's not true. You do have privilege. It's just not economic privilege.
Then, my dream of all of us coming together, I will never see that in my lifetime.
Well, so it depends.
I have to protect myself,
Well,
me.
Who's coming after you, Cleelon?
Well, I believe that if I was in the wrong place, that I could get hurt. That's just how I believe.
Well, you know what? Here's what's interesting about that. You have to worry about being in a particular neighborhood for that to happen. Black people have to worry about that happen no matter where they are. Black people can be driving to school. Black people can be driving to church. Black people can be jogging in the neighborhood, right?
Okay.
Like Mr. Arbery, right? Right, like Mr. Arbery. So
I will agree with you.
you gotta not interrupt though, like, because I don't like it when you do that. So this is what I want to be clear of. So you say I'm really worried about when I go there. We're really worried when we walk out of our door.
Okay, but then the true fact of the matter is, in my lifetime, I will never see this erased at all in my lifetime.
Well, I guess that will depend on whether white people choose to take this up or not. So I'm going to share this with you, what I mean. So you said something. You said, I wish we could all be colorblind. And do you know what that tells me? It tells me that you don't want to see all of who I am. You only want to see the parts of me that make you comfortable. Because
I want
race,
us all to be
let me
equal.
finish. Let me finish.
Equal. That's all
Let
I
me,
want.
Cleelon, you got to let me finish. When you say that you do not want to see color, that means you only want to see the parts of me that make you feel comfortable. See, talking about race is uncomfortable for you. And the reason why it's uncomfortable is because white people are the default. That's why white people don't like it when you say white people, because you're just used to being people. Black people have always been black people, brown people, Negroes. We've always been something other than people. So it doesn't make us uncomfortable. We can talk about race. White people can't because you've never had to.
Looked at people
And
the
let me
same
just
way.
hold on. Listen, do you agree? Let me ask you a question. I want to give an example. See if we can do this. So, do you, let's just say you meet someone and the person that you meet, is paralyzed from the waist down and they're in a wheelchair. Yeah.
Okay.
And so let's say that, that you and that person are, you hang out and stuff, but normally it's just at your house. And then one day the person in the wheelchair says to you, "Hey, Cleelon, I want you to understand what it's like to live in this world as someone who's disabled." And they ask you to sit in a wheelchair all day and go to the grocery store or go shopping or pump your gas or try to go to school or try to go to work in a wheelchair. Yeah, baby. Oh, I don't know. Where'd you put it? So when you do that, you now understand what it is to live as that paralyzed person, correct?
Yes.
And when you understand all the challenges that they encounter just trying to live, you have a different perspective of them and you have a different understanding of their life and who they are, correct?
I agree, but do you
Wait.
feel-
You agree. So here's the thing. When is the last time? Yes, baby. 1 second. It's my granddaughter. Yes.
You go ahead and take care of your granddaughter. That's, you're not family.
Yeah, I will let you.
Little like horseshoe heel clips.
I'll help you find out as soon as I'm done, okay? So, when is the last time you ever sat down with a black person and said, "Can you share with me what it is like to be you in your everyday life?"
Well, my best friend in high school, I'm 68 years old, but my best friend in high school was James Henry.
But that's not what I asked you.
I just never looked at it the way that you're looking at it. To be honest, that's being very honest with you.
Right. But the reason why you haven't is because you haven't had to.
Well,
You keep asking, when are we going to get past race? But the truth is, you've never even explored what it is to want to get past it. So here's what happens. This is what happens when we see that we are different from each other, right? The beautiful thing is to see that we are different, whether that's in our race, whether that's in our sex, whether that's in our gender, whether that's in our religion, whether that's in our disabilities and our abilities. It's to be able to see that we are different, to be able to get to know and understand those differences and how they impact us as people, and then to be able to see beyond those things to the human being. That's the thing.
What you're going to find out is that, you're not going to find this whole world to have critical thinking, and have proper, analogy of what you're trying to tell me. And you're never going to get enough people together to understand what you're saying. And believe me, I understand what you're saying. So I've never been in your shoes. So I can never feel what you feel.
Exactly. And so the point is, while you're busy.
And I'm getting it.
Yeah. But do you know what's so funny about this, Cleelon, right?
But the thing about it is it's sad to me in a way. I want you to know this. It's very sad to me in a way, because I think as a people, all of us, no matter no matter what creed or color, I cannot see us ever coming together, and that hurts my heart.
Well,
that
I will tell you.
I love everybody.
Okay, so let me tell you what the issue with that is. Okay. I would say this: you love the concept of loving everybody. And the reason why I say that is,
I just don't think that you're going to find it.
Hold on, Cleelon, I would love for you to stop interrupting me, please.
Well, I don't mean to. But
I know, but I just need you to, but I need you to not do that. Okay. So listen, you love the concept of loving everybody. But if you truly loved everybody, right, you wouldn't live in this constant fear that you speak of when it comes to Black people, right? Well, and the reason, and this is what's funny of that. Has a Black person ever beat you up?
Yes, 3 times.
Okay, what happened?
Well, I was at a White Castle one time in Indiana, and I went in to get my White Castles. And when I came out, there was 3 guys at my car, and they took my White Castles away from me, and they started hitting me over the head with caulk. I ended up going to the hospital. I had 17 stitches in the top of my head.
That's horrible. I hate that happened to you.
Well, I was 23 years old. I'm 68 now, but that happened when I was very young.
Gotcha.
And it's happened more than once. It's happened 3 times. And the time that I was at the jail, I wanted to use the phone and I wanted to get out. I've never been in jail in my whole entire life, and it was over me and my wife, and she was drunk, and it was a domestic thing. And I ended up getting out of all of it, but I wanted to get out of jail. They wouldn't let me use the telephone. These 3 Black guys at the telephone would not let me use the telephone.
So you know that there are certain jails, Cleelon, where white people run the jails, Hispanic people run the jail. I mean, there's a lot of different people, but
listen, there was a white person running this jail, and I think he wanted to see a fight, to be honest with you.
Well, jails is a funny place, but let me just talk for just a moment, okay? When you say it makes you very sad that we're not going to get to this place. So let me just, I'm going to finish a sentence. I really am, Cleelon.
All right, I'm going to quit. I'm not going to try to interrupt.
That would be fantastic. All right. So when you say we're never going to get to a time where we get past this, here's what I would tell you is ending racism is the job of white people. Ending homophobia and transphobia is the job of heterosexual people. Okay? It is always the job of the people whose group is doing the oppressing to undo it. So, the reality is simply this. If it's funny to me, you came in and you said something that I found interesting. You said, "Why do we all want to eliminate you?" Can you share with me a time where you have seen massive Black people trying to unalive white people? When has that ever happened in this country? Hold on. When has that ever happened in this country?
Okay, I was going to try to answer you.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a well-known professor at, I'm not sure if it's Yale or Harvard, but I can bring up his statement and it was him talking himself. He said the only time that this would end is if all of white humanity was gone, and then the racism would end. I mean,
no, but that's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you about the opinion of one professor. What I asked you is, you asked the question when you came in here, you said, "Why do you want to eliminate us? Why do y'all want to eliminate us?" So hold on. The question is, I'm going to give you the question again. The question that I'm asking you is, in the history of this country, when has a large segment of the Black population attempted to unalive white people?
Well, I know that it's happened, but not in a large scale. But the
No,
but the point
tell me
that
when
I
it
was-
has happened.
No, can I try to make my point that I was trying to say?
Sure.
You know, I mean, would that be all right?
Mhm.
The point that I'm trying to say is because of your oppression and what we have done to you, and we don't realize what you have went through, and we've never done it, and until we, I guess, until we experience it, or whatever the case may be, you know, then it's never going to end. Then it seems to me like in trying to get to the final goal where we can all just get along, you know, to be together as one race, one human race, will take many years, and I know I won't be around at that point.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more time. When in the history of this country has Black people as a whole worked to eliminate white people?
Well, I was just going to give you some of the examples that I heard from some leaders, you know, I mean, some professors, and I don't really know of any of it, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, I have not seen it. So in that essence,
Okay.
you know, you know, I can't say that is an assurity.
Right. So let me ask you this. When in the history of our country have we seen white people attempt to unalive Black people?
I know that it was happening before the fifth, like somewhere in the 50s, and before that, I know that it was going on. I know it was going on then. I don't know of any of it. I've never really seen any of it, but I know it was going on.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So let me just say this, okay? By what you just said, let's just take what you said, and you said you don't know of it ever happening where Black people tried to unalive white people in mass, but you do know that it's happened from white people with Black people. So the question that I ask you again is, when you talk about being scared of Black people, and you said that we want to eliminate you, the point is that has never happened. Never ever have Native Americans, never ever have Black people tried to eliminate the existence of white people in this country. That's never been a thing. It's never ever been a thing. But what has been a thing in this country is white people trying to unalive Native Americans and Black people. So there's actually a historical reference for Black people and Native American people to be concerned about violence from white people. There is not a historical reference for white people to be scared of Black people or Native Americans, because we don't do to you what has been done to us. And the thing about this is, when you say it makes you sad because this will never happen in your lifetime, my thing would be that would be up to you and your family. So one of the things that you do, okay, is you talk to the people in your life about the conversation that we just had right now. And then what you do is you go and you actually like watch a couple of documentaries, you read a couple of books, you become actually like fact-based in history. Because when you say that you all don't understand what's happened to us, I would say that you choose not to understand. You avoid understanding. So like here's a reality for you. Are you familiar with the Daughters of the Confederacy?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So that is an organization that after the Reconstruction period and after the Civil War, they wanted to kind of whitewash history. They wanted the South to be seen a certain way. So literally, these women, very, very rich, affluent women, okay, they lobbied the Department of Education. They lobbied members of Congress. They lobbied different places. And all of those Confederate statues that we see everywhere, the Confederate statue of General Lee and all the people, those were put up because the Daughters of the Confederacy paid to have them put up on government property and in public places. Not because those people were actually heroes, but because they wanted to frame a narrative around history. They literally wrote some of the educational books that were in elementary schools. So like in one Georgia textbook, they reference the slaves frolicking in the fields. Slaves never frolicked in the damn fields. Like, it's just not a thing. So when you get to write the books, when you get to write history, you get to make it sound however you want to make it sound. And then when other groups of people want their perspective of history also taught, then people think it's indoctrination. But it's not. Why should history books only be told from the lens and the perspective of white Americans, and how white Americans saw Martin Luther King Jr. and how white Americans saw Rosa Parks and how no. Why can't history books be taught?
King, and I loved Rosa Parks for what they did,
but not at the time. Okay, stop it, because listen. Listen, this country did not love Martin Luther King Jr. when he was alive. They locked his ass up in jails. They beat him. They tried to take him out. They did not love him. It was only when he was dead and gone that they gave him a damn holiday. They didn't like him. They did not. I don't know why. Like, everybody wants to act like this country loved Martin Luther King Jr. No, they did not. Not ever. Not until he was dead and in the dirt. And that took, right, Mandarific, and that took 30 years.
In the 60s, my best friend was black.
But do you know what you just did? Do you know what you just did, Cleland? You just did something that's called tokenizing. Do you know what that means?
No.
So tokenizing is when a white person says, I have one black friend, or my best friend was black, as if that one black person in your life means you can't be racist.
Oh, no, I've had many.
No, but that's what tokenizing is. And so let me share with this. So let me just put this in perspective. Having black people in your life does not mean you can't be racist. How do I know that? Because slave owners actually slept with black people, black women, had biracial children, and still beat them, hung them, and did whatever. So you can 100% have black friends, have black girlfriends, have black babies, and still be racist.
Okay, so how are we as white people today that don't really care for all of that mess that happened back then? How are we going to be able to get along with all of you, from this day forward, and try to, and I hate to say it like this, and I'm not trying to belittle any of it, but how are we going to bury the hatches and let's all just get along? Let's all have the equal right to buy a house, the equal right to,
Yeah, well, so when you understand that it's not equal today. So Cleland, let me tell you the difference. Can I share with you something? Do you believe that it is legal do you believe that slavery is still legal in the United States of America?
No.
It is. Would you like for me to tell you how?
Yes.
Okay. So the 13th Amendment did not abolish slavery. What it says in the 13th Amendment is it is illegal to use slavery as punishment except for a crime. So what happened is after the Civil War happened, and it took 2 years for them to let everybody know all the way down in Texas that slavery was over, right? We can talk about that another day, but right after that, that is when they started doing something called Jim Crow laws. Do you know what a Jim Crow law is?
Yes, I've heard about that, and I don't agree with that at all.
Okay, so can you share with me what you understand a Jim Crow law to be?
Well, the Jim Crow law was to put the black people in their place, as far as where they, their status in the community.
No, Jim Crow laws. Let me just, okay. So let's understand a couple of things. Okay. So historically speaking, here's what we know. We know that labor is how you build the economy of a country. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And because of slaves or enslaved people, because they weren't slaves, they were people who were enslaved. So because of enslaved people, okay, the United States of America had free labor in the South for a really long time. And when the Civil War happened and the Union won, and you could no longer have slaves in the South, people had to figure out, how do we still get this free labor? If slavery is now illegal, except for a crime, we have to make these laws that make it a crime for Black people to do anything, like register to vote, to not be able to read, to walk across the street, to do anything, to look at a white woman. We have to make up these laws, these Jim Crow laws, to find a reason to say they've committed a crime, because now we can use them for free labor, which still happens today, which is why we have for-profit prison systems. The reason you have for-profit prison systems, where the majority of those prisons are filled with Black and brown people, is for free labor.
I'm sorry that that's happening,
but don't be sorry about it. Don't be.
I wish that I could change things,
but you can. And the way that you change things, Cleland,
I'm a tiny blade of grass in a great big field.
Absolutely. And guess what? Your little tiny blade of grass can.
Up high enough, and I'm waving my arms around, and
so here's what you do.
They come along and they cut us down with the lawnmower.
Cleland, this is what you do. If you really want to do something, you don't say, oh, I'm sorry that that's happening. You go, holy shit, why is that happening? I need to contact my congresspersons. I need to contact my state legislator. I need to find out what is happening with these laws that is still disenfranchising Black people. I need to know, why are politicians able to draw districting maps that make it so Black people's votes count less than white people's? I don't like that. I don't think that's right.
Well, that should stop.
But then you have to tell your people that it should stop, because Black people have been telling them it should stop and they don't listen. So white people like you should tell them.
If the 13th Amendment says, what you said it says, then they need, in Congress, they need to bring that up in Congress, and they need to rewrite that whole thing.
Agreed. They need to amend the 13th Amendment. Correct. And guess what? Did you know that most states, do you mind telling me what state you're in? Florida. Okay. So watch this. Give me 1 second.
I am a Christian, and I go to church, and I do love people, but I don't understand all this, to be honest with you. I don't.
It's okay. But here's the thing. So, Cleland, it's not about understanding all of this. It's really not. What it is about saying, okay, so now you have been told things that you did not know previously, right?
Right, and I have an awareness.
Right. And so this is where it gets really great if you want it to. So here's what happens is, after this, it's what do you do with the awareness that you have? Do you just go back to regular life like you never learned it? Or do you say, now that I know something, I need to know more? And do you go look for more? Do you go, do you do that?
I would like to know a lot more, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I do call my congressman on issues that I believe in. And so I will be calling my congressman and letting them know about the conversation we've had.
Awesome.
Because I truly want racism over with, and I want everybody to love everyone, but I want it to be in the right way. I want everybody to feel equal and not privileged and underprivileged and separated and segregated, and I don't want any of that. I think we all deserve exactly the same thing. Every one of us deserves exactly the same thing, and if there's any way possible that I can push for that, I will.
So this is what happens, right? So you talk to those individuals, but you have to learn and look out more things. So I'm going to tell you something. Do you have YouTube or Netflix? Do you watch YouTube or do you have Netflix?
Yes, I got all the apps because
Okay.
I don't watch TV. I'd rather be on social media.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to go to either YouTube or go to Netflix. And I want you to watch a documentary that's called 13th. Okay. It's from the 13th Amendment. So watch the documentary 13th and then come back and join me in another live so we can talk about it because it will be eye opening for you. One moment. Yeah, babe. I am.
We do a health food challenge.
Yep. We sure can. We sure can. All right. So check this out. I would like for you to do that for me, please.
And it's called 13, right?
13th with a TH, like 12th, 13th. Yes, it's 13th. But can I read? I want to read to you section 19 of Florida's Constitution.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're going to get started? Okay. So here it is. Section 19 of the Florida Constitution says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party has been duly convicted, shall ever be allowed in this state. So even in the state of Florida, slavery is legal. So
that needs to be removed.
And that's the point, right? So this is why we have for-profit prison systems. They are making a ton of that. Okay, so now that you know, this is where you start talking to your legislators and say, "Hey, we need to change the state constitution."
Well, what I'm going to have to do is get more knowledge and
Yes.
a little more wisdom, and then I will try to do the best I can in my part to make sure that everybody is treated equally, and we can separate the language that they have in here by separating the people.
Exactly. So
it has to stop somewhere.
And so if everybody understood that when Black people say we want to talk about race, it's not for segregating people or making people angry. It's to create understanding like what you and I just did. And then
because I thought it was separation, and you really, you really shown a very good light on, where I need to take, where I need to read and take my knowledge and wisdom to.
And this is the best thing, right? So when we create understanding, now we can start to now you have something to build on. So if you go watch the documentary 13th and then come back to this live, we will talk some more, and I'll give you another book to read. I'll give you another documentary. This is what it's about, learning. What people have to understand is that the problem isn't the 99% of us. The problem are the 1% who are greedy, who want to own everything. Yep, they want to own everything, run everything, and all of that. So this is how we do the work. Okay? So watch the documentary 13th and come back, and we'll talk some more. And here's the thing that I will tell you. I happen to be in a space where I can have these conversations with people and I don't mind. Some people do, some people don't, right? So I'm always a safe place to ask questions, and I won't be offended by them. You know what I mean? So if you have questions after you watch it, I'm more than happy to answer them.
I do try to use critical thinking.
I know you do.
I do try to always see all sides. I want you to know that.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, you've opened up my eyes to a whole lot of things.
Well, good.
And really, the Constitution needs to be amended,
It does.
And our leaders You know, they need to. I mean, in each state, whatever the Constitution is in each state,
Needs
if
to
it
be.
talks about
Yep.
slaves and all that stuff, those things need to be taken out.
Yep.
And we need to be on a more level playing field.
So did you know that? Yeah. So what happens is those amendments, they need to be amended. So
Yeah.
we just need to say prohibit slavery and involuntary servitude, period. Right? Period.
Get rid of it.
And so that's what needs to be happening. We just need to get rid of that one phrase, right? But so then here's another one. Watch this. Are you? I don't want to be nosy, but I mean, I would assume you have a mother or maybe a sister, an auntie, maybe a wife, ex-wife, somebody. You've got women in your life, right?
Well, no, my family pretty much are all gone. You know, I'm pretty much by myself.
I am sorry. I'm sorry for that. Well, we're all here, right? So you're welcome. You're welcome in this space. You're welcome in this space.
I appreciate your input because I've never seen it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And so you've enlightened me. And with the enlightenment, I'm really curious. And so I want to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
And with my critical thinking, even here in Florida, I'm going to call my congressman, which is Brian Mast. And I mean, I've got them all on speed dial.
There you go.
I can call them up, and I'm gonna let them know I want that language taken out.
Yep, that except for, there should be no exceptions. There should just be slavery and involuntary servitude shouldn't happen. Something else that I'll tell you about. Do you know that there's a piece of legislation, a bill that passed Congress. It's called the Equal Rights Amendment. And the Equal Rights Amendment was passed so that we could ensure, because the founding fathers, they always talk about men, right? Man this, man this, man this. And so we wanted to amend the Constitution to make sure that women were protected, because we weren't always, right? Like when
yes,
and
a
so
long time ago, women were second-class citizens.
Yep. And so get this. So here's the thing. So, all right, so check this out. So the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment for women, it passed, right, in 1973. But what happens is once that amendment passes, what has to happen is it has to be 35 of our states have to ratify it so it can be added to the Constitution. And it has to be ratified within 10 years. So here's what happened. Do you know that the 35th state to ratify that amendment so that women could have equal rights? Guess when the 35th state ratified it so that women could have equal rights? Guess when?
Honey, I have no idea.
2020, Cleelon.
Oh my God.
It took that long for 35 states to agree that women should have equal rights. And guess what? Because it didn't happen within 10 years, it didn't get added to the Constitution. And in 2023, there was a bill, and that bill was going to get rid of that 10-year requirement so that it could be added to the Constitution. And believe it or not, Republican senators blocked that bill from passing so that women could not get equal protection added to the Constitution. So right now, if people wanted to go by the letter of the law, we could go right back to not being able to buy houses or have credit cards or buy cars without our husbands or our daddies, because they did not add the ERA to the Constitution.
That's crazy.
So this is something else.
It's still happening today.
Yeah. So this is what needs to happen. We need to be telling our Congress people, listen, we want the ERA added to the Constitution. And this is something that all of us can do. Every single one of us can be writing letters and making phone calls to our Congress people and saying, listen, this should be added to the Constitution. Get rid of that 10-year. Get rid of that 10-year, because all they have to do is get rid of that 10-year requirement. All it takes is a resolution. All it takes is
making some phone calls, I promise you.
Well, good.
We'll be making some phone calls.
So do me a favor, watch the documentary 13th. Okay. And then come back here because we do a lot of, so in my lives, we do a lot of education where we talk about different facts And then I even do like draft letters and draft emails for people so that people know what are some of the things they need to be saying to their legislators. And I put them in a Google Drive for folks. So come back after you watch 13th, and then we'll do some more of this. Sound good?
And I want to let you know something.
What's that?
As you educate me,
Mm-hmm.
I will relay the information to my congressman. I mean, I've got him on. Well, I've got 2 congressmen, and a senator.
Yeah.
That I've got in my phone, and I regularly, let them know what I'm displeased with, and so I will let you know that I will be calling them. I will, read the 13th.
Watch the 13th.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the 13th.
Yep.
And then I'm also going to let them know that the language that's in, the 13th Amendment needs to be
Changed.
out.
Yeah,
And
it
it
needs-
needs to be changed.
Yep.
And I'm going to let them know that if they really want racism to be abolished, and if they really want us all to get along, it has to be done in every state. And
Yeah.
it has to be a level playing field, and it's not a level playing field.
Nope.
The white people are well above, every other race, because the playing field is not right. It's
Right.
just not right.
And this is the part. So then the other thing is, so I know that you said a lot of your family is gone, but the other thing where we are really powerful is when we talk to the people that are just in our everyday lives. So
Oh, yeah, I got friends.
yeah. And so when you have friends, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I was on TikTok last night and I had this conversation with this woman and da 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 da. And that is how we share our experiences. The key to ending racism and sexism and homophobia and all the things, it's not talking about the things, it's talking about the things and sharing our perspectives so that we can learn from each other, and then we can create level playing fields. That is the power. The power is in talking about our differences so that we learn from each other and we understand. That's how we become powerful. That's how we get rid of the hate.
I want to thank you very much for this conversation this evening. I usually don't even do this, but this was very enlightening, and I'm really glad we had this conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you for sticking with it and listening. I appreciate you.
Okay, yes, and I want you to know I appreciate you, and in my heart, I feel, I'm privileged, but in my heart, I want you to know that I really do love everybody.
I know. I believe that you do. I believe that you
love
do.
everyone,
I
you
think
know?
it's, yep. And I think it will be your desire for everybody to love everybody that helps you open up and learn even more.
Yeah, and to love someone, you want them to be on a level playing field with you. I don't ever want to look at myself like I'm above somebody else. I
Right.
never want to do that. So I would love to try to help it be a more level playing field for us all, so that we all look at each other and love each other, and be able to change the laws to
Yep.
where we're all looked at equally. You know?
And this is the thing. So, like, you know how you said you grew up poor, right?
Oh, very poor, honey. I
So-
was out on a back porch, and it was 20 below when I was scraping windows, and I was on the top bunk, and I'd scrape the window just so I could look outside and watch the snow come down.
I got you. So check this out. So when we talk about privilege and we talk about creating, you've heard people say everybody has the same opportunity. Well, that's true, but not everybody has the same access to those opportunities. So you didn't have the same access to college that a rich person did.
Oh, no, I couldn't go. I had to work around. I had to work before I even got out of school
So
to
that's
help out. I
yep.
was emancipated at 17. I was working 2 jobs and still going to high school. I graduated high school, but I was working 2 jobs and going to high school and trying to help the family.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. When we talk about creating a level playing field, all we're talking about is trying to give everyone the same access. So I want poor kids to have the same level of access as rich kids. I want Black and brown kids and Native kids to have the same level of access as white kids. I want LGBTQIA kids and people to have the same access that straight people have, that cis people have. I think that we should all have the same access to education and healthcare. And so that's what it's about.
I agree.
Awesome. Well,
Well,
I appreciate you, Cleland. I look forward to seeing you.
Let you go. I'm going to get ready for bed, but
Okay.
this has been a very enlightening, conversation.
100%.
And from this day forward, even though you're on the other side of the screen, I'm going to consider you my friend.
Absolutely. We are absolutely friends.
Okay. And you take care, sweetie.
You
And
take-
I will get to the 13th. I'll read it. Plus, I'm going to get the 13th Amendment out because, I'm going to, I got a pocket Constitution and I'll make my phone call.
Awesome.
So, I thank you so much.
I thank you too. Thank you, Cleon. You have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yep. All right. So, folks, Netflix or YouTube, 13th is on all of them. Yes, ma'am, right now. Okay. So, this is why we do the work. This is why we do the work all day. All day. Right? Good, necessary trouble. And it was rough in the beginning. But this is the thing, right? We have to stick in there. We can't get tired. We can't get frustrated. We can't assume that they're all the same. We got to give opportunity. Right? Right. So I appreciate everyone. You all can see that I will check my DM, Denise. So let me just say this, folks. I have been on for 3 hours. I have got a gorgeous, smart, really creative grandbaby that wants to do some painting and art with me. So I'm going to get off here for tonight. Let me give you a few parting things so that you know. I am normally on. Miss Jones said, hi, Bella. I am normally on in the mornings from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I am usually on in the evenings from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the norm. The podcast. I have a podcast that you can listen to on whatever your preferred podcast listening platform is. It is the Danny Cook Show. If you look that up, you will find it. Appreciate the bubblegum, Titus. It has been out for 3 weeks. We have just crossed the 4,000 download mark. It is in the top 10% globally for downloads. So I'm very excited about that and appreciative to all of you guys for making it happen. We got work to do. We will finish reading some more of this. We got Black History Month all month. We've got some organizing to do, we'll get some Zoom scheduled so that we can do we'll do some trainings on FOIA requests. We'll do some trainings on conversations and healthcare and all the things. Okay. So I will get those scheduled on a calendar. Make sure that you go to my Linktree, that you fill out that Google form, put your email address in there and your first name so that I can get in touch with you. Let me know if you are a subscriber or a follower. The emails will go. I'm going to do a test email tomorrow for everybody. And then later on this week will be the big email. The Danny Cook Show is the podcast for the person that just asked. It is the Danny Cook Show. So I appreciate you guys very much. It's been amazing. 300K. Thank you for the 300,000 likes over on TikTok and all the gifts. Appreciate you, Facebook and YouTube and everybody for hanging out. I will see you. I see info on where to get information. Mind's Eye, I guess you'll have to wait until the website is finished being redone. And then what I would do is I would go to the Wayback Machine, which is the archive. Venmo is right here. Venmo is Danny-Cook-11. Raid someone. Hey guys, tell me who's on. Thanks, Tom. That's a good idea. Appreciate you, Donna. Who's on, you guys, for us to raid? Who's on? All right. Facebook and hey, cuz I'm just now getting off. But you can watch the replay. It was a really good live tonight. So it's good to see you. Yeah, so I'll tell you what a raid is in a second. Facebook and YouTube, let me say goodnight to you. TikTok, hang tight. I'm gonna send you all to go raid someone. So hold on 1 second. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let me mean it. Okay.